Hello YouTube, this is Omid here bringing another one of my Black Ops 2 Zombie Theories videos where I talk about stuff I like to see in Black Ops 2 Zombies, surprisingly enough. In this episode, continuing to talk about the up and coming zombie DLC Die Rise. In this episode I'll be concentrating on the gameplay features that I like to see in the map. Gameplay in zombies has always been very important. So the second tool, I guess you could say, for getting in between buildings is the zipline. So this is backed from Call of the Dead and basically allows quick travel between buildings. It's free to use, so but obviously you don't have to pay to use the zipline. But there are a few disadvantages of using this. The first one is because of the way ziplines work, you'll never be able to get onto the rooftop. You'll always spawn on, say, the lowest floor that's playable in a particular building. And in my idea, most of the perks and utilities, you know, the good stuff like the pack-a-punch machine, the perk machines, will be located on the roofs themselves. The guns will be located on the sort of lower floors. So basically, what happens is if you use ziplines, you're constantly having to fight your way up the sort of staircases to get to the roofs. And as we all know from previous maps, staircases are a pretty nasty spot to be in the middle of a round. Two other disadvantages that come with ziplines, because otherwise they'll be overused, like the running in between parts in transit. Zombies, like in Call of the Dead, can use the zipline, but they go faster than you on it. So when you're on a zipline, particularly one of the bigger ones that spawns a big gap, if you don't shoot the zombies that are following you, they're going to catch up to you and knock you off. And when you're on the zipline, one hit will kill you, because you'll fall off the zipline and, you know, it's a long way down, let's just say that. And the final danger of using ziplines is there is a special zombie that I'll address later, but let's just say this: it can snap a zipline. So the last thing you want is to be on a zipline and just see that special zombie, you know, waiting for you at the bottom, and it's about to destroy the zipline, because these are, you know, ziplines will be dangerous to use in this map. They'll definitely be a risk. However, there is a gun that you can get out of the random box that can set up new ziplines, because otherwise ziplines will be a bit too awkward to use. So you will be able to get re-establish ziplines that have been destroyed, but they'll be a dangerous way to use. The final way to get between buildings is just about as dangerous as a zipline, but it's more expensive, and it's a jetpack. Basically, it's one of those things that you can build, so you get a few gas tanks, an engine, some straps, something like that, and you build a jetpack. And basically what happens is when you're using it, you can use it anytime you want, not just between buildings, but it costs, say, 100 points a second of use. And it has several uses between buildings. Say, for example, you're swarmed, you can use the jetpack and just fly up into the air. Obviously, it's not that doing that has its own risks, because the zombies will just follow you. So, you know, it will give you a few seconds relief, but most of the time you'd still be killed, because when you run out of money to keep the jetpack going, you'll just fall, and the huge group of zombies will be beneath you, because you can't fire a gun when you're using the jetpack. So it won't be so it could get you out of a tight situation if you're good with it, but most of the time it'll just postpone the inevitable. Also, it can be used to get from rooftop to rooftop, but it'll cost a lot more points than using the helicopter, say. But then you don't have to wait for the helicopter, and you can go from whichever rooftop to whichever rooftop you want. Also, it can be good, say, if you're on a zipline and you get hit off, the jetpack could allow you to go from the zipline over to the building, but still, it costs a lot of money. So those are the three tools. So the helicopter is like the bus, in terms of getting between buildings. It's kind of the default. The zipline is free but risky, and the jetpack is expensive, and it can get you out of some sticky situations. That's about it really for the buildings themselves. There's a few other small features that I'd implement, such as instead of just adding a wonder weapon into each new box, which we'll discuss later in the wonder weapon section, other guns will appear soon, because when you think about it, Black Ops 2 has a huge number of guns available, they don't, they can vary whatever guns you get in this map. So I think they should do that. In terms of perks, I don't think they need any new perks, because in terms of zombies, we've got a lot of perks, but I'd like to see the return of some other ones. Stamina, I don't think should be in this map. There's not much use for it, but I'd like to see Mule Kick and Deadshot Daiquiri return. And I wouldn't like to see PHU Flopper return. I think we should just get rid of that perk altogether. Not, I guess don't want to see it again. That's just a personal preference. Also, I'd like to see the return of the explosive red barrel in zombies. I mean, I don't remember seeing one in zombies since Nectar Intington, and it was a really good way to change up strategies, because, even if it's just one or two drums on the top of the buildings, just shoot them, kill zombies, but it can also injure yourself. It's just something to liven up the environment. So then the final feature that I like to see in this is a way to make high record runs on this incredibly difficult. So basically what happens is, after say round 25, I'd say, every 5 rounds one of the buildings that you can play on collapses. Okay, so basically you're playing along and the building will collapse from underneath you. Now obviously you can use maybe a zipline if you're quick, but most likely a jetpack, because by around 25 you should have enough points to be able to go pretty much anywhere on the map with the jetpack. So basically, one by one, every 5 rounds, your buildings will collapse underneath you, and then say, I don't know, let's say 6 times 5. I don't know, but basically, as you go on, fewer and fewer parts of the map will be playable because they've all turned into rubble. But there is I'm just going to say round 50, but whatever round it is, the last building that is playable will collapse. Now what happens here is, once the final building is collapsed, the sort of death barrier that is created by you falling off the buildings is removed. And there's one very, very small playable area at ground level. So basically, once the final building's collapsed, the ground level is accessible again. And basically, if the helicopter's there, you can use it, and it'll take you down there. Or you could use the jetpack if you're experienced and you know where this patch of playable area is, because the rest of LA will be lava. But basically, there's a small area similar to the starting area, but it won't be the same, that's still playable. And basically, this is just an area where you can go for your high record runs, but it makes it incredibly difficult because, one, there will be no viable guns, there'll be no box, there'll be no perks, no pack-a-punch, there'll be absolutely nothing but rubble in this sort of small playable area that you can get to. And it's kind of way that it makes zombies harder as time goes on, but not the way we've been expecting. But it also allows high record runs, because if you guessed it, it's the final building collapses, it's game over. That wouldn't be popular. People like high level record runs in zombies. So, make it possible, but make it incredibly difficult by taking away every asset that you need to survive in zombies, to really show that going to a high round means that you're pretty good at zombies. In the next episode, I'll be tackling the special types of zombies that we could see in Die Rise. But until next time, this has been Omagent. Thank you and goodbye.